Hello folks, welcome to the canal channel Jose. Today we're going to show you, give you an idea how we replace or refurbish our hubs for the blades or the bearings on the structure where the cutting blade is on a riding lawnmower. And this is for the MTD lawnmower, and these units can cost over $100 each, but we got the bearings for pretty cheap, and we're going to replace them. And the reason we're replacing it is because this bearing is very aggressive. It has a lot of friction in there, and that's not good because then it's taking horsepower out of your engine and it's not performing as it should. So this blade goes right underneath here, and as you can see, this part right here will be on the lower part, and this is where the belt will be running on. So cutting area, and from up here over is where the belts are. So this is the deck, will be the deck sheet metal here. So we're going to be replacing the bearings that are in, there's two bearings in here, and we're going to give you an idea how we do that. We already refurbished one that is going to go into our cutting deck, and we're going to refurbish the other one, and we're going to show you how we do that. So it can be done, but it takes a little bit of it takes some work to do this. So with that, let's show you and give you an idea how we refurbish this. So here's the one that we have rebuilt, and here's the old one that we haven't rebuilt. This one spins freely, but check this out, it has a lot of movement in there. So this can create a lot of friction or a lot of vibration on the engine or the machine, and that's bad. So we're going to replace the two bearings that are in there. So first we have to take off this pulley, and to do that we have to take off this nut out with our impact wrench, and this pulley is all the way to here. That's the structure. So we got to take it out so we can start breaking this into pieces. Now that we have taken out the nut and the compression washer, we can extract our pulley, and it has to be done all the way from here, from the back. And so we can end up with a shaft by itself with this unit only here. So now we have taken out the pulley, and now we end up with a shaft, and there's a bearing here which is worn out. That bearing needs to come out. As you can see, look at that plate, and we have to spread this plate from this plate away. We have to take nuts from this side off. So here's this half-inch nut. There's a half-inch nut here, and there's another half-inch nut here that we need to take off. So now we have taken out those three nuts. We're gonna have to separate from here. So this plate goes away that way from this, so we're able to press this bearing out. We're gonna split it right here, so we're gonna press him out, and the bearing is gonna come out. Everything comes out this way. So these two components were like this, and those three bolts were guided into three of these holes, and they were completely together, but we have split them off. So now that we have done this, now we have to press this bearing out from this side over. It has to come out through this side. And there's the other bearing right over here that we'll deal for it in a little bit. So these bearings, this one and that bearing, are the same. So there's two of them required, same bearings, and there's one. This is the new one. This is the one that we're gonna press. They look like this. Once it's pressed in, it's gonna end up like this. So now with the press, we're gonna put a spacer on the bottom to give it some clearance for the bearing to come out. And we're gonna put it like this. We're gonna put a big socket on the back and push it through. So then the spacer is gonna allow the bearing to come out before it starts hitting the bottom. So then we can press it out. So we do that now. the bearing came out pretty easy, no pressure almost needed. So we're gonna put some grease around it, so when we press a new one into it, we don't damage it and it goes smooth. So we have pressed it in, this all the way in as much as we could. So now we are gonna continue with the other bearing on this side. So on this structure, this shaft has to come out that way. So we're gonna put this spacer here, and we're gonna put it like that and push the shaft through. The rest of the components, these are gonna go this way. So we're trying to get the bearing out of there. So here's the shaft by itself. This is where the blade will be in the bottom. This is where the pulley will be in the top for the belt. And this is just a cover or a protector for the bearing not to get too much crap in there while it's spinning, which was like this. So this was like this. Now we have this, and this is a spacer between the two bearings to give a certain space. We got now the bearing, this one has to come out, and we're gonna press it from this side over, because this is the way it's gonna come out. So now we're just, they're so damaged that they almost came out by themselves. They were so bad. So we're gonna clean, and then so we can put the new one in. So we have put the new one in. We put the old one on top of it so we can press the new one in, and then we start pressing it. Now that we have put the new bearing in here, we're gonna put the shaft through, and then we're gonna have to press the shaft into the bearing. So now we have pressed the bearing in. And that's some paint that we got in there, and when we had stored it. So now we put the other half in. We put the spacer back in. So now we're gonna have to press this guy into this. So we're gonna put this one in, and we're gonna allow the hole for the shaft to go through, but we don't want the bearing to be pressed out. So that's where we're putting it over it like that. And then we're gonna flip this over and push it in with this spacer in. Put some grease here so it slides through. So now that we have bottom out the bearings, this is not gonna go anywhere any closer, because that spacer is preventing this from joining, because that bearing needs to come out a little bit. So for us to do that, we're gonna rest this on the plate, but the bearing is gonna have to just pushed out a little bit when we're pushing the shaft in. So now we have to allow the bearing to come out. So now we have the two bearings in. We have to put the 3 nuts here, secure him, so we can start putting the pulley in. So in our case, we're gonna add some Loctite to this so it doesn't loosen. And now we can tighten in the nuts completely so those plates get together. Now that we have replaced the both bearings and it doesn't have any play, it's pretty good. So now we put the pulley back in and we put the nut to secure everything together. So now that we have everything together, we have put the pulley, this sheet metal goes on top for a plate that slides right over it so it protects the belt from sliding out. And then we gotta tighten in this nut. So once we do that, we have this unit ready to go in. So now these we have new bearings here. So we're about to install this back into the machine, but we wanted to show you how you can replace these bearings, and it just takes a little bit of effort. These were pretty damaged here on this one. It was just wobbling around, so that makes a lot of vibration on the mower, and the blades are that can bring to a bigger problems because they're spinning at high RPMs. So now we're about to put the hubs or these bearing structures back into the lawnmower, and there's two of them. So we have it stand up right now. So we're gonna feed them from the top down. So this is where the blades will be, and we're gonna feed it through this other side. And there's 4 bolts or 4 securing points for this, and that's where the belts are. So like we said, we got it standing up right now. See, as you can see, this is a very old machine, but we're fixing for a cheap price. We're gonna get it back to work. So we'll put the first one, attach it, and secure it, and then we'll go to the other side. So on these bolts, we're gonna put Loctite as well because there's a lot of vibration going on here. So we'll put it. So now we have tightening in the 4 bolts, and now this side is secure. We just put the other one in there so we can start putting the blades back in as well. Well, we have both structures back into the machine. So we all have to do is just put the blades on, brand new, and we can get this machine back to cutting our grass. Well, folks, we wanted to show you that these components can be rebuilt, and these, when you buy them, if you need them, and just because the bearings are bad, you can spend from $100 to $180 per unit, and that's what we just looked on shop around for our lawnmower. And if we need 2 of them because the bearings are bad on both sides, that's over $300 just on these 2 components like this. So we went and researched and took one bearing out, and we went and compared it to what we needed, and we found this is the old one, and we compare it to other bearings, and we pay about $7 for this bearing. So we bought 4. That's less than $30 for 4 bearings, and we just did the replacement ourselves. These units that look complicated, but if you start looking at it and breaking it down, you can always break it down and rebuild it yourself. You just got to be patient and take your time. Well, folks, for our friends who are watching the video haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. If you like a video, give us thumbs up, share it, and we'll see you soon with more videos here en el canal El Chano José.